radio check. Our work is in the AO. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for some questionable drawing again. Terrible art skills to beat. First and foremost though, I would like to apologize for failing a stream yesterday. I did plan to do a later than usual stream. I was actually a bit off after running around for most of the preceding period. I kinda lost steam just at the last second, and I decided that maybe it would not be a good idea to do a stream while feeling a bit drowsy and that, so I had to call it off. Originally, this drawing stream would have been yesterday, and we would have already completed the line arts at least, or the main line art. And today we were supposed to do a historical reenactment of the last day of the Fille's Pocket, but I'll have to delay that to tomorrow maybe. Unless I get a little too into drawing, in which case I might have to stream this again day after. Well, enough about that. Let's get into the particulars of this one. So, a little backstory. Over the past week, a mutual friend of ours in our channel, or rather in our, let's just say, personal social network, kind of shared that they've been watching an old disaster TV show from the 70s called, I think some of you might remember this, it's called Emergency from the 1970s. It was one of the biggest and probably one of the first true disaster response television dramas that came out, and pretty much provided a precedent for most of the other television dramas related to emergency disaster response and all that. So basically, for those not in the know, Emergency is focused on a couple of the first generation of paramedics in the LA County area, which means not just the city of LA, but the areas around it, city outskirts, the out of city border kind of places, and the kind of hijinks they had to deal with on the daily. It also provided focus on the medical, or rather the hospital crew that they had to work with whenever they deliver patients from the field, and it really focused heavily on realism to the point that they actually had contact, or rather direct consultation with not just the LA County Fire Department. County Fire means the entirety of the area, LA area again, instead of just the city, but they also had direct consultation, direct talks with the medical professionals that are supposed to handle casualties after the paramedics already got them stabilized and delivering them from the field to the hospital itself. It was really a groundbreaker, mostly because of again the realism part. The production team were very, very adamant that things would be as close to how the operations actually worked in the field, to the point that some of the actors actually got crash course training in how things operated properly. If you're seeing a pattern here now, you might say that bits and pieces of the realism training for Emergency actually expand not just to other disaster films and television shows that came after, but also affected many other documentary or semi-documentary style mini-series and all that. Like, for example, I think partially you can thank Emergency for making Band of Brothers and the Pacific as close to reality as they are, and not just close to reality, because both of those other series actually featured stories from the actual service members who took part in there. Anyway, it might not be apparent for many of the younger folks today, but emergency had such a big impact on. It has such a big impact that it's still pretty much referenced in a lot of stuff, and it's a reason why the fire department museums almost all over America has at least one replica. Or, well, not all over America, but several parts of the fire departments and fire department adjacent facilities across many parts of the U.S. have at least a passing reference to Squad 51's rescue truck. And there are several replicas of this particular truck in several museums in some states across the country. Well, going back to what I was planning to do there, I kind of gotten a bit inspired to actually put Subaru-san in the shoes of a Squad 51 member. And just a little bit of a fun fact, earlier in her career, one of Subaru-san's, we say, member tags was the ambulance, even though her original lore is that she's part of, or rather, sports manager in some high school, and well, most people know her these days as dancing, singing duck for some reason. Well, it's mostly because of the voice, but anyway. So earlier in her career, she actually used the ambulance as a character tag, mostly because I think the idea was that there were so many people flocking to her for subs that she kind of felt like what was it? Kind of felt like she was running an emergency services thing, was it? Let me double check my notes. Ah, there it is. It was one of her first posts, and it was one of her first social media posts, and it was one of the immediate hit, shall we call it hit tweets, I think, and became her character tag for a good few months of her early career. Well, I think this isn't entirely related, but you might remember she also had a lot of health issues, so maybe having an ambulance is a bit connecting that. But anyway, so after all that rambling, we're all just gonna come down to this. I wanted to at least do a fan art of her looking like a member of Squad 51, the 70s era, blue uniform and deep blue pants, as well as the older LA County fire helmets. And the idea is it's supposed to be an action shot. Just got out of the truck responding to an emergency. Although that's kind of... that's kind of off, since ideally she'd first respond, or rather she'd first pick up equipment on the back of the cab. But for artistic purposes, we'll just show her running to the scene while putting on her blue jacket. I honestly wanted to also depict her putting on the fireman jacket. They're called... Alright, turnout coats. But I don't think I could draw a turnout coat, or rather a period-accurate turnout coat, that efficiently, so we'll just have to stick to the daily duty blue jacket on top of a summer duty shirt. So, okay. I've already done some of the rough plan, or rather the rough layout of how the art will go. Finished up on the background, which will be Rescue 51's body, or rather Squad 51. Important that we have the markings on the door, so should try to, as much as possible, maintain a close appearance to the cab, body, most tool storage areas here in the back. Subaru-san is here. Ideally, she wouldn't be driving. I don't think she has a license to drive a vehicle, although she's already got a Class 1 boating license, but that's gonna be anyway. Problem is, I have no idea, rather, I'm not entirely sure she should be standing in this position. Might have to truck a little further up here, just so it doesn't look like she's gonna hit the left, the left rear view mirror. Fortunately, because of the angle, we can't really see the light bars on top. You might remember Subaru-san is just 5'1", approximately 5'1", and the top of the cab of the Squad 51 truck, light bars notwithstanding, is probably roughly around 5'10". So if we go by estimates here, I'm going to assume Subaru-san is roughly around here, probably a little below fireman Roy DeSoto's shoulder, I suppose. He's the best reference here, so I'm going to assume there again. And let's just assume that Subaru-san's height is somewhere around here. Probably around 5'10", 5'9", then she's just 5'1", so it's to be some height. Give or take. We're gonna stay with that as a reference point. Well, anyway, if you are looking for a good period drama that focuses on very realistic disaster response work, as well as first aid, and probably get a snapshot of how paramedics worked in the early days, like literally the early days of advanced emergency medical technicians, this is the show to watch. It was interesting the first time I saw it, because the pilot actually shows a bit of a brief about the first class of paramedics that graduated for the LA County area. And did you know that back in the day, paramedics had to be accompanied by a nurse who would handle the more advanced stuff whenever they had to provide emergency medical care? So that it would usually involve IV injections. No, not correct. IV injection, maybe some of drug administration. What else? Checking for more advanced signs of life besides the vital signs, which paramedics were already trained to handle. Yeah, it was a bit rough edges at first, mostly because people, or rather the nurses, had to run around with the early paramedics, rather, and it was a pretty busy thing all around. There are things. Subaru-san here. So yeah, we've already got Subaru-san being connected to ambulances, and she already had the Ozora Keisatsu stuff, which means the only civilian disaster branch she hasn't been in touch with, rescue. Mostly. rescue and fire support. Okay, got the image, dragging it now, attaching it for references. What? Oh. Why did I use the mode bar? I forgot. Since it's a reference image, it has to use the reference image tab for this is. Ah! Forgot they actually changed her default image on the talent website. It's now smiling her. Okay, let's see here. Good thing she already has her hat on, so we have a reference of how it will look like when she has the LA County fire helmet on. Okay, let's go first with the Okay, so there's a bit of a wide dip here on the bottoms. Should probably start from the bottom just to be on the same side. Right, this is just the rough line art kind of thing, which means we'll have some of the early details for how she actually looks here in the final line art itself. Gotta be a bit of a cheek. And round and you know, watching the pilot for Emergency actually reminded me about how rescue firefighters work when handling rescues of their own comrades who fall down in the line of fire, or line of duty rather. And comparing that to what I've read about today, it seems like it's a lot harder, even in the 70s, or at least in the early 70s, to provide direct support for firefighters who need assistance when they are incapacitated while dealing with conflagrations and some such. So you see these two guys who act as the main rescue firefighters for the entire series actually started out as, well, just rescue firefighters who pull out the other guys who get knocked down. And comparing their gear is obviously comparing their gear to what's being used in the modern era is obviously a bit of a a bit of a no contest kind of thing, considering how much things have progressed in the past 40, 50 years. But it's kind of surprising how they kind of how things evolve mostly. Like the personal personal emergency beacons that we are mostly familiar with when it comes to firefighting equipment didn't exactly exist in its in a similar form back then, which is of course understandable because of the hardware they use aren't exactly compact enough. But then it makes you wonder how exactly they managed to reduce the risk of losing both the firefighter in distress and the responding firefighter who is trying to pull their buddy out. especially in serious industrial or residential fires where the risk of a collapse is very, very high. One other cool thing about this, though, is that they actually showed in Emergency how the battalion chiefs, the guy who pretty much the senior most officer on the field who coordinates stuff, they gave a fairly efficient way of displaying, or rather showing how battalion chiefs would handle coordinating a large number of responders, especially on really big fires or other disasters like the tunnel cave-in from the later part of the pilot has been. Hang on. Eyes are. Those count as Tsureme? They're kind of round or kind of look like Tsureme, right? Does it really count though? I feel like seriously, if you look at the base art, it's kind of hooked up a bit, and it's not really the drooping type that's associated with characters. It's somewhere around there. Oh, sorry. I guess you're. Sorry about this. I guess you're having trouble keeping up with me. Looks like I'm having some serious bitrate issues right now. Well, it's not because of my hardware, I hope. But I do have. I've been having some internet connection issues for a couple of hours now. I'm going to assume the weather has something to do with it. I hope not. But if you are having bitrate issues and it's probably hurting your eyes or whatnot, I do suggest you drop by some other streams going along today. There's a couple of good stuff up and going, at least. And what else? Well, there's an Iron Mouse, but I'm not sure if she's still streaming. She was streaming for a couple of hours ago. I believe there's an archive from the boss, since Ocho, who streamed last night. If you want to catch that instead, you can go overhead there and check the VODs. Hopefully, though, the buffering will stop soon. Still, stay around here and watch this terrible drawing stream unfold. Anyway, let's go and actually get the eyes up here. I should really check the other image where the other image where her eyebrows are a bit sharper, so that we get a better idea of how to make her look a bit more serious. It's probably one of my favorite expressions of Subaru-san is when she's getting a bit more serious and the eyebrows are sharp and all that. Remember, this is just the rough line art stuff, so I'm not sure if this is how it will look like when things are actually being laid up. I got it wrong again! Start from left. Let's see. So it's it's just one stroke, but it gets thicker closer to the tip. Can't tell if she's got eyebrows at the end of there. Assume there isn't. It should be straight down, isn't it? It's a bit of a curve. Should be here. Too big? It's just... Oh, you have to adjust the distance of the eyes here. Here. Let's see what the eye here on top should be, but it should be a bit in line with the top eyelashes, I suppose. Then how about the eye shape? Okay, her eyes are compressed and actually stuffy one. It's all two in the center. Oof. Maybe I should make it a bit smaller. Mostly because the lines here are halfway. Okay, so... So, friendly neighborhood. Maybe not. This is just a rough pyramid. I've just touched. Get the eyes up. Yes, that seems like a good start. And I'm like, maybe. Voice Sensei does have a lot of gaps between the eyes after all, so just that. Browse. Ah, right, perfect. I see something. Yep, it should just be straight. Something. Yeah, something like that. Lines off. Too low. Somewhere like this. Just so remember there's some curve here to represent the eyeball. Sticking to the upper eyelid. And why does it have to be a dot? Not good with that. Yeah, okay, so some of the other fan art makes it look like a line. Seems to be a good number of them makes it just look like a dot. Give me just a tad bit of a second. Okay, let's stick to the line. Maybe we'll get something out of that. Where's that? It's a little too big. I just need a slight M-dash here. Too big and too close. Yeah, that could work. What kind of mouth should we? I don't think her signature smile will be perfect, rather appropriate for this situation. Nothing on that part. Not on that part either. Nope, not that either. Not there either. Oh, dang it, I missed one. Hang on, let me... How about we do that instead? It's something like that. Just had to adjust it in the final drawing. Doesn't really have that super anime lip. Rather super anime mouth. Maybe. Now let's keep it that way for the sketch, and then we'll try to adjust things as we go. Now let's go with the hair. The extra hair here in the 2D does not show up in the 3D, and that's gap on the over the right eye. So go and start from there. So I'm assuming that goes. Okay, it's multiple layers, and there's a bit of an overlap in the middle there. Start like this. Go looking like this. Too much. Okay, no, it's just enough. Just a bit. We'll probably I'll leave the gap there. Make it a bit bigger here. And something here. Okay, so it's one long strip of hair coming down the lower end of her left cheek. That's a good point. It's a little too straight. For that, it's a couple of hair strands covering her ears. Okay. Something like that would be nice. How about the hair in the back? Okay, that's easier. It's just a couple of spikes, thankfully. A couple of spikes and some curves here and there. Like this. Okay, maybe squish it just a bit. Oh, it's a double layer, so it's going to be sort of hair here. Some hair here. Yeah, something like that. Perfect. Stretch is a bit further up like this. Remember, this hair isn't exactly going to show up mostly in the final line art, since it's going to be partially covered by the county fire helmet, but I just need something as a reference point so that it doesn't look like it's under volume when we actually do the line art itself. Also, we need some like border kind of thing that will show up when the hat appears. So this part here, that's part of the head. This part here is gonna be the hair part. Doesn't look like Subaru-san yet. Hopefully when we actually apply the main line, it's gonna look a bit better. Oh, it's a bit of an imbalance, so there's no symmetric hairline here that matches with the one on the left cheek. What else is on? Anything else? Not much. Ow. What else do we need? Somewhat of a block here. It's a couple of strands. Maybe not. It's already where the is. Oh, there is a bit there, but it's not actually visible from this, right? And the mouth is a little too big. Problem. We'll have to fix that in post. We should get the light up out to make it smaller later. Now let's go for the hat first. LA County Fire hat like this. A bit rounded, but there's a bit of a droop front, and then the bigger droop here for neck and back protection. Base using hat here as a reference. It's a bit of no. Do we start with the body of the hat itself? The front rim first. Assuming this is where the hat's gonna, or rather the front of the hat's gonna be. Here. Like that. Looks like we're having some serious connection issues again. Really apologize for that. Surely the bot archive won't be as bad. Or rather, hopefully. I'm not too sure how it's gonna go later. Anyway. Don't worry. Oh yeah, the hat. So the front of the hat looked like this. That's just two nuts holding the front name of that the front name of the hat in place. Front. Body is a separate part from the tag, obviously. Somewhere around here. might have to change the size in the head a bit. It's pieces here. Can be this segment here for shape purposes. Oh wait, I forgot the top rim. Okay, I actually have no. I actually have to do it first from here. That doesn't look like much of a hat. Okay, so it's here, tapering around here. Does it have the same shapes in the back? It does, but it's a little too further back, so I don't really need to add that, technically speaking, just a bit here and there. Now to add rim. That was thicker than I thought. Just had to see the other reference images on search, and apparently I'm not making these segments thick enough. So let's add some more space here. Bigger. Now, for the brim itself, it should be a bit more rounded than that. This. Then add some space here. Hang on. It's still rounded, it's just not apparent from this angle, so... Yeah, there you go. Now it's actually looking like a proper fireman's helmet. Probably have to make it a slightly bit bigger in the post edit, so it's something like that. Yep, there we go. To refine that once we start drawing the main line art. And don't forget the straps. We need the straps on the helmet as well. That'd be a strap. Set the straps here, so there's probably some straps on this part. Just this segment here. Chin straps down this part. The size adjuster for the straps are on the other side of the head, so we don't really need to draw that. Okay, next up, going to be the blue polo shirt uniform. Ideally, we'd also depict the County of Los Angeles Fire Department paramedic patch on the right, alongside the Los Angeles County Fire Department badge. Since they're both covered by the blue jacket, we don't have to worry about them that much, and just use them as a backup reference just in case. We might change when we start doing the line art again. Well, not crap. The bitrate's dropping like crazy. I don't like this. That doesn't. It's right there. I hate how she has the anime neck here, which is really, really thin. Alright, let's stick to that. Let's use that as a basis for the collar of the blue tunic. It's pretty thick. I thought it was a bit thinner. It looks like it was actually pretty big. Somewhere around here. Here. And make it look like this. Yeah, something like that. Another tunic up. We have something like an undershirt here, of course. Proper decorum. Gotta have something to protect you beneath that. Made of probably some fire-resistant cotton. I don't know. The idea, based on what they showed on the show, it's not clearly visible what's under this uniform. It could be just a wife beater for all we know. So the rare instances where, or rather the alternate instances where they're shown with the turnout coat ready and they're answering to an immediate call while they're sleeping, shows them wearing a full white undershirt instead of just a wife beater type. So it could be just different whenever their shift changes. Since this is a morning shift after all, they're probably going for comfort rather than extra coverage, so they're just using a shirt, something lighter under there. Any hoot? That's done. Let's add some more button. No, let's not go for that yet. Let's go with the shoulders. Shoulders should look like somewhere else. Excuse me. Ugh. That was nasty. That. It's a little too far. Get a little closer. No, that's not too short, I hope. That. This one up here. That's the hand. Got a jacket that's not fully covered yet. Okay, so it's a bit of a mix. going to be this blue jacket on top, which has... Oh, that's the one with the zipper, okay. Excuse me. Gonna be something around this part. Zipper's going to be rolling around here. The other collar will be popping off from this point. Not too visible because of all the squiggly lines, I'm afraid. I can't really do much about that, I'm sorry. We'll probably be able to finish, or rather show the detail a bit more, once we've started making the proper line art. It's okay. Pocket here. Probably have something like a pen sticking out. Now that that part is done, we can move here, put the button somewhere around here. How many buttons do we have? I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 visible buttons on the shirt. So the next one would be somewhere around here, maybe. Uh-huh. Save check, save check. It's been on a bit of an hour or two, so I'm gonna do a stretch. Oh, my back. And then, oh, get this the other collar somewhere around here, maybe. It's going to be a bit billowing since it's still being in the process. It's still in the process of being worn properly. Maybe something like this. Forearm. Set it up. Under. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. Oh, we have to change that as soon as we're back on main lining, or the main line art at least. I feel like it's kind of long, but it's a bit of curve here. Because Subaru is a girl too, you know. Ah. Tunic shouldn't be that long, right? Blue jacket, not the tunic. Oh. Let's go and fix up the look of the the blue tunic first before we go ahead with the jacket. Something like jacket will be somewhere around here, maybe. Well, the tunic itself would be. I think we'll probably end around here, and that's where the pants will be. So the big pronounced LA County Fire buckle will be somewhere around here. That's where the tunic ends on its own. Somewhere around here. Which means that the jacket will probably be up to this point at the very least. You know, those rescue jackets are actually pretty fancy. I think they're made of some slightly fire-resistant material to keep the wearer a bit more safe in other situations, though they're mostly just for weather protection. So, something like that. Yeah, that's where the other button is. 1, 2, so that's where 3 is. 4. Last button should be somewhere around here in the bottom. The bottom right next to the buckle. Curve is. Belt, yes. Belt should be around here. Early paramedics had their quick response holster somewhere around this part, but we're not gonna draw that since it's covered by the jacket. Mostly just a couple of different types of trauma shears and probably some clippers. Or some slight clamping, I don't remember most of it. It's kind of neat to look at. Especially since they're pretty much quick draw holsters too. Now that that's done, let's add some more shapes here. Don't forget the chest area. A bit shapely, not super pronounced, but it's there. And bits and pieces of the jacket. Somewhere around here. Bit of a curve since she's still wearing it, or she's still in the process of fully wearing it. This. And then eye area. Wait, what? Like not exactly up to specifications, really. I have to use the belt buckle as a reference first. Starting from this point. That's done. Try to connect it from here to here. And put the foot down here. Move the sketch rough just a bit more, and we're actually going to be done with that. Probably have to make the hat slightly bigger just to give her a bit more protection. For the time being, let's focus on the legs. Probably gonna give her a bit more shape here in the the hip area, just to make her closer to the real thing. Like this, maybe? a little longer on the legs. Probably. I mean, the left leg seems a bit short compared to the right leg here. How does that look now? Yeah, definitely need to fix the right leg just slightly longer. It's already correct. No, it's still a bit too short. Let's give it a bit of a push to the right. Something like this should be enough, I think. Put the foot down here. Probably have to adjust this part near the base of the foot, so it doesn't look like it's one giant wiener. And yeah, I think this is how the rough appearance of Subaru-san will be once we finish the line art. Very, very rough. Again, I apologize for my terrible drawing skills. But yeah, this is how I envision things will go once we're done. Just this bit, just a bit. Good. Now we have an idea of how she looks. Now, sketch background in. Yeah, that could work. She's probably gonna hit mirror still, so we'll have to adjust this. Or probably adjust her, I don't know. Let's see. Nah, she becomes less. Rather, she becomes less focused on. She's already out of focus here since there's a bit of a gap up on the top. So we could probably just track further down in. Yeah, I think this is actually a better idea. Get some more nose here. And considering her position, she actually moving it further down like this will probably give a bit more focus on the Los Angeles County 51 marker here. It also gives us a bit more space on top to fix up the bull bar. And well, that's going out of the way. Let's do sketch back, rather. Raw. And save. Oh. Swivel lights. Always fancy to remember a lot of the older emergency service vehicles had swivel lights near the, they call it near the rear view mirror on the windshield side of the car or truck. They mostly use it as backup spotlights in some serious situations, or they're for illumination purposes. But I think they've mostly been depicted as the warning light when trying to apprehend suspects or all that. Of course, I'm just thinking of the Chevy Impalas that were used as patrol cars in movies. Could be different use in real life, so let's leave it at that. No, what else? Angle here, right? Apparently not. Okay. Be like this part here. And there was going to be... Okay, the angling is on the base instead of on the light itself, so it's something like this. Next is part of the hood. This is the hood cover. Bit of a gap here, that's where the base for the windshield wiper should go. All the way out here. Curve side. Not too pronounced. Because the part that makes that noticeable effect is the door itself. Is it direct straight? No, there's a bit of a bulge on the side down to the base because of, you know, how the B350's cab is designed. It'll look like this mostly. And a bit of a curve here to the reverse side. Just not that low because there's still a bit of a step here, mostly covering the roof area, or not the roof, the floor area of the cab itself. Like this here, then again a bit of a curve when you go up. Curve again to the end. Then after that, should be following the shape of the cab a little further in. That's top of the door here. And it returns downwards here and links up with the base of the spotlight. There we go. Part of the door now. Okay. There's the noticeable shape of the cab right for the windshield. That's a double layer there. Probably going to be using the line tool once the line art comes into effect. Time being, let's just make it look, or give it a bit more shape, roughly speaking. Parts of the windshield go here. It's bit of the rounded part of the roof front. Somewhere around here. Noticeable bulge on forward area of the lights. Note that they're a bit flatter here as well, so it's going to be something like this mostly. Does that feel right? I feel like it does. Definitely not. I got the tip wrong. Mostly should have something like this here, and then lights. Oh yeah, okay. Should be a bit flatter than this row. I know. Now this is correct. And have it curve it a bit like that. Yeah, something of that general shape would work just fine. Don't forget to put the other baseline lines here, because that's not entirely just the light itself. Yeah. Yep. Should be the same for the next light over, but I'm not really gonna need all that. I'll just copy it. Feeling a bit lazy about this right now. No, this is not a good habit to have, by the way. Sometimes you gotta do it manually. By manually, I mean actually drawing it. Here. Further up than I thought it would be. There below. Okay, now let's work up on the windshield again. Bit of a curve here for the head segment. And there's some extra lines here atop the windshield and the windshield frame. But yeah. Lower windshield frame. And pretty much done for that part. Well, let's try and work on the bull bars. Oh. Okay, so the bull bars are a bit rounded rather than flat, which is what I initially believed. So there's a bit of a clamping here. Front for the front base of the bull bar. Like this. There's a bolt which holds the, rather a nut which holds the segment of the bull bar here together. Connecting points. Am I correct? It's a bit more curvier than this. Something like this then. Similar segment here in the rear. Like, and the arm base here this way. Something set of screws, I think. And what appears to be a screw hub, where both arms connect and are held in place. That's not entirely visible from, though. Should be the bull light bars by now. Here's the light. That's the base of the light bar. Okay, maybe a little more angling. Be in line with the line for the cab windshield. Now the next part, the rear view mirror. Not too good with this one. Okay, just double checking because they used, as a bit of a note, they actually used multiple copies of Squad 51 throughout the entire run of Emergency. So there's, unless you were actually paying attention, there's actually some distinct differences between model years, and I'm kind of confused because one of my reference images uses has the rear view mirror base, or rather the arms holding the rear view mirror in place, being a triple V kind of configuration, but in 3D. Well, the original, or rather the first Squad 51 truck had a 2D V-shaped frame holding it in place. Now, I don't know which one I want to follow, but I think I'm going to stick with the older one, so it's just going to be a bit easier that way. I don't know if some actual Emergency fans are watching this, or will see this in the future, but probably going to be the only ones who will complain about the lack of accuracy in the drawing of Squad 51 itself. Okay, let's go with the top frame first, where the which holds the entirety of the whole frame, or rather the whole rear view mirror together, somewhere like this. Curve up. Still buffering? Dang it. Really not good on the internet connection today. I have no idea why. Now we put the main rear view mirror body around here, maybe. But don't forget the holding screw on top. Body of the mirror itself. Rounded shape in the back, probably for weight purposes, I don't know. Not too noticeable, but it's actually pretty 3D. When you look at it, very obvious that it is. It's gonna be a bit of a shadowing thing once we're done with all the line art. And the lower base down here. Somewhere. Probably have to make the mirror a bit bigger. There you go. Now the supporting frame, which connects the, rather keeps the weight distributed so that the mirror doesn't fall or swivel on its own, would be somewhere out here. At least this is how I saw it from the earlier seasons. It's connected to this part. Linked up here. And we'll add the frame for the side mirror, or rather side window here. Passenger side window. Yeah, that's pretty much how it looked like in the earlier seasons. You did change the frame for the rear view sometime in the later parts. I don't want to follow that. It's kind of might get in the way of the sign. Oh, I get it. It's a double V, 3D V frame. Interesting. Next up is the side window. Somewhere around here. Somewhere here. There's also a separate. Is that? Okay, so there's a separate window, or rather a separate part here. Probably for if you want to just, or rather provide, or rather keep most of the wind coming straight at your face when you're driving. Right here is sealed off separately. So when you try to push or rather pull the mirror of the window down, it doesn't, or rather it sticks in place, so you don't get wind blowing up in your face all at once. Okay, that door looked... Now, they really had a second frame here, so let's just add it, just in case. Another frame here, then. No choice in the matter, we'll just have to add those. I'll have to change this so that it will be a V shape. Somewhere around here, it just has this as a apex point. Nah, that doesn't look convincing. Well, whatever. Where did the doorknob go? Excuse me. I'm having trouble. Random snooze attacks. It's like it's a simple pull-out bar door. I think. Alright, let's just stick to that pull-out bar Thor thing. It'll look like something like this. Box here, and then there's depression here, so that you can actually put hand in it. Door open. Bada boom, bada boom. And we have Los Angeles count. At ground level here, so it's gonna be. Okay, so there is going to be L will be somewhere around this part. to. We have adjusted. It's gonna hurt this. Now that got a bit confusing. This will work. This isn't the final one. We're gonna have to give it a bit more shape. I just need an idea. I need to get an idea where the letters will be once we start doing the proper line art. Something's off. Oh, I missed the other E. Dang. So I gotta adjust this a bit further to the left then. Too much space on this side. County starts somewhere after the S and then before the E. Here mostly. Before the second E or the first E? Second E, so it's somewhere between L and E. There's a gap here. Dang it. Here. Dang. Got hit by a bit of a snoot feel. Am I still that tired from yesterday? Well, the good thing is we're just about ready to wrap up for the. Just need to finish at least the rough lining for the Squad 51 truck. Well, not exactly lining itself, more like a rough patch of how it'll look like mostly. Then we can call it in for the day. We won't be able to draw tomorrow since, again, I have radio general planned tomorrow, or rather moved tomorrow, so we'll have to focus on that first. Finish the Fillet's pocket mission according to history. I got the wrong one. 5 is after the O, so it's a little further up. Further down. here. Excuse me. One go here. Just a flat line that looks like an eye. Probably a bit more closer. Yeah, it's somewhere between N and I, or N and T. Yes. That. Circle it, highlight position. It doesn't look like a circle at all. And the next one is Fire Department Rescue Squad. Fire starts the O section. I have to fix this soon. These LOSs. Someone is then the L is Fire Department starts O part and ends around the E part mostly. Somewhere around here. I have to fix that R soon, or fix that after we're starting. We started fixing these, the actual line art. The T ends around the E signs. Centered. Definitely have a lot of stuff to fix here. Rescue squad. Yes, for rescue somewhere around here. Last one. A just between T and the period. Ah. Like this then. Perfect. And so roughly would look like this. Just have to get it a little closer to the front area because it's more pronounced there. To fix that, essentially, to in something like this, maybe. What does it look like with Subaru-san on? Well, that looks nice, actually. Just looks like she just closed the door. Okay, then we put the footrest down, which has a bit of a... And that's a door, and then there's the rather floor. There. Space for two sets of nuts connecting it to the body. Just enough slack so that it doesn't resist your legs when you try to step on them. Force you bump yourself or something. Something like this here. Curve. And over the side. Yeah, something like that, actually. And add another area. Yeah, perfect. How about the wheels? Oh. Shape here. Some wheels here and there. That looks nice. That's actually shaping up pretty nicely. There's a third nut here. It's part for extra spacing, rather extra support. Now the front cover's done. It's time for the rear. Oh, there's a lock here. Something. Dang, I forgot about the chairs. I thought the windows were two-way on this thing. Well, whatever. Let's go and add some lines for the rear view. Not too pronounced there, and then backrests. Just one long set, and then there's the dash. Also the wheels, which aren't definitely visible here at least. Just a bit of it's probably a gap. Middle passenger, if they have either a ride-along, like say Dixie from the early season, she's the nurse that was assigned for Rescue 51, or Squad 51 rather. And in some cases they also get like ambulatory patients in the middle of the cab. They've also put suspects there. There was also at least one instance of a trainee actually riding middle, which is quite fitting for Subaru-san. But no, Subaru-san here is already a graduated paramedic, and she's just getting her first runs on the job first. Excuse me. You have to remember, this part here in the back is not just a carrier or a storage area for the equipment, but is also usable as an emergency transport spot, as evidenced by the handlebars. So it's not really recommended for transferring non-ambulatory patients exposed to the elements, and there's not much in terms of securing them if they can't hold on to anything. Anyway, time to get that cab. Oh wait, there's a bit. And flaps here for the rear wheel slots. Toolboxes now. Doesn't look like a door opener at all. Whatever, we're gonna fix that in post anyways. No, we need to get that cleaned up. Yeah, that's workable. It'll probably fix that later. rear wheels, which were doubled, even though they were pretty thin. Well, that actually looks close to what I had in mind. Perfect. Okay, let's review. Oh, I forgot. There's got to be at least bits of the handle railing here in the back. Angled? Was a bit curved. Around here. Yes. And yeah, just like that, the upper railing is sort of complete. Get a little bit of a gap here. That's where the oxygen tanks are stored. Well, I can't really drive. There's space left. And I guess somehow or other, I think the rough lines for the squad truck are complete. Excuse me. Oh. Keep the lines up on thing. Annoying. I don't know if it's because of the older hardware, but contacting. Well, sketch background, and yes, that's a bit more shape now. Now I just need to a couple of final checks on height control, and probably adjusting the size and shape of the helmet. And I think we should be good to go for the actual line art itself. Well, we can't really do that tomorrow. Again, I have the fillet pocket mission queued up for tomorrow, which should have been today, but again, no stream yesterday, I had to move stuff in. Well, anyway, those two are just the important stuff we need to focus on for the time being. And since we're pretty much done with the rough line art here, I'd say we're pretty much ready to go anytime. I'm actually surprised we actually do this within just 2 hours. Considering that most people would have been able to do more details with this in the same amount of time, I'd say this is actually a bit of an I can do in the usual. Rather back in the day, it would take me probably that much time just doing the vehicle itself. Now I actually did manage to clean it up in just 8 minutes or something. Anyway, glad we actually got to do this here. And just in record time too, as soon as we're done with the Fillets Pocket mission, we're definitely going to finish, or rather start the line art on this one. And if I'm lucky, you might be able to do some color stream as well. But for the time being, I'll have to table this until we can finish it again. This Pocket mission tomorrow. Maybe the day after that, we're gonna start doing the line art thing already. I'm back. okay. Anywho, with all that being said, if you got any complaints about complaints or other reactions about the stream today, you can always drop me a line on my Twitter, Pixib. If you got a hankering for the older stuff I've already streamed, you can always check the VOD archive linked on the About tab of the profile page. Speaking of the profile page, if you've got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream, or just want to complain about PNG stream in general, is share my Twitch profile, twitch.tv/work. I'd really appreciate that. Helpful right now. Going through it. Oh crap! Did I close that? Shoot, I did. That was a mistake. Anyway, that's all from me. That's all from me for now. Again, we'll be running around with Canadian Army tomorrow for the closure of the Blade Rocket. Creation of its oh, it's been 81 years since that happened. Dang. Yeah, we'll try as much as possible to actually do things as close to how it happened, so that some experience. That is going to be a thing for another day. As for now, work is RTV. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Sorry that the bitrate's been a bit now. Not exactly a fun experience. I don't know what today is going. It's been like this for a bit. Now, hopefully it'll be fixed by tomorrow when things start running again. In any case, thanks again for watching. See y'all.